All right. Good evening, morning, afternoon, whatever it is that you're experiencing right now. Uh, been wanting to make a video of our farmstead, homestead, whatever you want to call it, for a while now. And today's been 75 degrees and beautiful, which is odd for July in Michigan. But I thought I would just maybe give you a quick tour. It's going to be probably a long video, so I apologize if you don't like long videos. I think I'm just going to take you for a walk, and if you like farm stuff and outdoorsy things, maybe you'll get some enjoyment out of this video. If not, feel free to click off. That's all right too. So we bought this house this last fall. Also, I apologize if you hear an engine running in the background. I think my neighbor's splitting wood. Anyways, I bought this house, my wife and I bought it last November, so we've been here probably, that's about, what, 8 months now? 9 months, somewhere in there. We live in West Michigan, about 15 minutes from Lake Michigan, so we're kind of out in the sticks a little bit. It takes an hour to get to the nearest mid-sized city, so but it's a really pretty house, and we got it for a pretty good deal. I'm just going to walk you through the property, and you can check out kind of our gardens, our vegetable gardens, our orchards, our barn, and probably finish up with showing you my chickens that we just got. So we were very fortunate that the landscaping the previous owners did was fantastic. Lots of flowers that are they're awesome. Seems like every week something new pops out of the ground that we're discovering. You know, these purple cone flowers are really pretty, and those just shot up probably about 2 weeks ago. So that's kind of our front garden. We have a redbud tree right here. This thing is bright red in the spring. I guess they're pretty rare to grow in Michigan. They like a little bit warmer, so you get them more in, you know, the south and, you know, the northern part of the south. But cool that we have that here on the property. Hydrangeas and some other flowers I don't know that much about, but this probably needs to be weeded. We moved in the fall, like I said, so I didn't have a lot of time to pull weeds. And I've been really busy trying to get the farm part of this property set up. And yeah, I just haven't had time to do a lot of that. So this is kind of the side of our house. So the next stop, let's just go take a look at one of my vegetable gardens. We're on 12 acres. About, I'd say half is heavily wooded, primarily out this direction. This here is an old horse corral. The prior owners used to breed horses. I think they did that as like a part-time gig or something, but I'm not planning to have horses, so this became a really nice place to have a garden. So it's a little overgrown. I need to weed this or mow it or something, but you can kind of get the gist. So this is a cucumber arch. Oops. It's just hog fence that we put down, and the cucumbers are wild. They like to climb, so they'll grab parts of the trellis and just climb up it. And so we've got a few hanging there, a bunch over here too. It makes it nice because I can just come in, I can just grab this, I don't have to fiddle around way down by the ground. So pretty neat. Got a tomato plant here. I believe that is a Campari, and then another one over here. I think this one was a cherry tomato. And this one might be a beefsteak. And this one's getting really tall. I mean, that's, I don't know. I'm 6 foot. It's as tall as me right now. Not a ton of flowers though. Tomatoes have been really weird this year for me. I think it's just been really hot and dry, and they just haven't done super well. But another tomato plant. These buckets I grew potatoes in earlier in the spring. I've since harvested them and replaced them with carrots. So you'll see some carrots kind of popping up. I love bucket growing for root vegetables. It makes it so easy when you go to harvest because you just dump this out, you know, grab them out of the dirt. You don't have to like dig down into the soil and risk, you know, hurting the vegetables. Plus I have a little nephew and he likes to dig through. It's fun for him. Over here, this is way out of control, but this is a bok choy cabbage. I did have a bunch of daikon radish growing in here. And we have one more potato plant, or sorry, tomato plant right there. I think that also is a beefsteak. And then this is just weeds right now. This did have a bunch of Napa cabbage. That's what it was. This is all full of Napa cabbage. We harvested that at the end of spring. Here in probably a couple weeks, I'm going to replant probably potato plants in there. So I need to get that all cleared out. So this is kind of deep summer. It's the end of July and the weeds are in full effect. I'm going to show you the perimeter of this. So you'll see there's some bushes growing. These are all blackberries, almost all of them. And we harvest these almost every day. And here's a few right there. They grow up really nice. So we've got a ton of blackberries that we're making jam out of. And it's really fun just to come out here and pick them. My wife and I probably do a loop around the property, I don't know, maybe every other day. Just get a whole bunch of them. And I mean, you'll see blackberries all over this property. I mean, there's some, I mean, there's a big plant here. This is all blackberries. And then I won't walk down there, but we own probably 5 acres in that direction. And it's woods and blackberries and all sorts of fun stuff. So let's go over to the orchard next. All right, sorry for the cut, had to take a leak there. This is an older orchard that was here on the property when we moved in. This is an apple tree. No apples came off it this year, oddly enough. I need to look into that. It maybe needs a better pollinator nearby. This is a plum tree. This is it's not looking like it's in the best health, but it is a peach tree. And there's I guess a peach right there I probably need to pick. They're also not doing super well this year. This is another plum. This thing's probably finished. I'm tearing that out next year, I bet. It just isn't producing anything and it looks real sad. And then this is a pear tree. This one's doing great. And you can see we have some pears coming in right there. They're pretty scattered throughout the tree. There's some up in the top. This is a really healthy looking tree, so we'll keep that in place. I did put a drip irrigation line in, and it kind of runs down and through the different trees. I thought maybe that might have been a problem with some of the lack of fruits that we've had. This area is pretty overgrown, but I do have blueberry plants kind of just above between where the yellow plants are up there, the yellow flowers, and the purple. There's 3 blueberry bushes in there. I don't think that's the best spot for them, but I got them for $5 and I figured I'd see what they do. So that is kind of our old orchard. I need to mow this spot too. We have a pool, above ground pool, but it's got a nice little deck on it. I've never owned a pool, so I'm learning how to deal with that. I tell you, it's been a pain in the ass trying to get that thing clean. This is the back of our property, or at least, you know, the part that we occupy. Again, we own a lot of the woods over that direction. But we do have I think it's slightly above a ½ acre, between a ½ acre and like 6/10 of an acre pond. Full of fish, mostly catfish that I've caught so far, but I believe there are bluegill and maybe some perch in there as well. I'm probably going to be building a dock out there next year. We'll see. And this is going to be the site of our new orchard. This hill is it's very steep and there's not a lot on it. And so we're probably not going to be like playing lawn games in this area. So I'm going to plant another orchard. So these are 2 apple trees. That one's a yellow delicious and that one's a pink lady, I think it's called. They're doing great here. It's very sandy and they like the sandy soil and the drainage down, so they don't ever get waterlogged. So I'll probably cut these weeds back even further, and I'm going to put more pear, probably some cherry trees, and maybe a couple more apple. And then I might plant blueberries between them. I think this might be a better spot than where I put them this last spring. So this will be our backyard. When I do mow, I do mow a path down by the pond, and then I do a loop around it so we can walk. We have a Great Dane dog, and she likes to run around, so that's kind of her hangout. This is a view of the back of the house. Nice enclosed deck. That's fun for just either rainy nights, or if it's too hot to be in direct sunlight, you can kind of hang out there. And then again, you have the pool. So we'll keep walking up this way. We have a lot of pines. I think these are white pines. and they're awesome. They're huge. I mean, I guess you can kind of see them in the background there, but they're massive trees. They're so pretty, and they stay green all winter, unlike a lot of the, what are they, deciduous trees that lose all their leaves. So we do have some color in the winter. Coming up through here, this is our barn. Like I said, the previous owner bred horses, so we got a barn out of the deal. So I had an idea when we moved in, because this was kind of where the horses were kept, that the soil down here is probably pretty fertile from all the manure. And so I planted a huge batch of corn. It's kind of weedy, but the corn's starting to get tall enough where it doesn't matter anymore. They're starting to tassel out. So I think there's 75 corn stalks in there right now. Next year I'm going to do a better job. I'm going to clear this out and just make it a little nicer looking. That's a pig pen, so they used to have pigs, and there's a fenced off area that goes down the hill for pigs. Let's go in the barn here. So a pretty nice barn. Definitely all we need. It has water coming in, it has electricity. There's an old cat that lives in here too, and we'll feed that cat every once in a while because she kills the mice for us. So probably needs to be cleaned out. But we have some little stables here, and all the way back here, a lot of old horse manure. I dug up a bunch of that for our gardens this last spring. You know, free manure, can't beat that. But I'll probably fill this in, make it look or make it a little bit more winter resistant. So this is a pasture that we have. I think this is where the horses mostly grazed, but this right now is my second vegetable garden. So we have peppers, more tomatoes, cucumbers, jalapenos. Some really good tomatoes coming in right there. A ton of cherry tomatoes. And then some more tomato plants in buckets. Those in the back are squash. Let me see if I can get this gate open with one hand. Alright, I'm setting you down. Rogue video cameraing today. Side of our house, basketball hoop, garage. That's a greenhouse. It was in perfect condition. We had a spring storm that tore it down, so I'm gonna get some more plastic to cover that up. And a pretty big pole barn here. And we'll kind of transition into the chickens. That's my 1989 K5 Blazer. It's not running right now, but one day it will be. And then in this area, this was I think, former workshop. You know, we've got some storage back here. This pole barn actually has its own septic tank, so it could be converted. There's a bathroom in the main room. Here we have my little chickens. Just got these a couple weeks ago. That gun's not to hurt them, it's just to keep this fence, this screen down, but give you a quick look. These are Rhode Island Red chicks. They're probably getting just a little bit big for this brooder, so I'll need to sort that out soon. This box was just an old cabinet that was in our kitchen that we took down. Made a really good, hey buddy, made a really good brooder box, and I have another one, so if they get tall enough I can just stack it on top and just make it too high. So I might do that. go out this door. And when the chicks are big enough, this is going to be their coop and chicken run. So these were already on the property when we bought it, which is awesome. It means I don't have to build a chicken coop. It's already got the boxes. Needs a clean out, but the previous owners had chickens, so it's set up pretty nice. You know, we've got little perches there and the back door. All right, I guess the camera cut out. I was showing the chicken coop. It has a nice metal roof, and then this will be the chicken run. So they come out through here, and they have all of this space with a nice tree cover, which is nice. Helps prevent against, you know, flying predators and stuff. So it's mostly wooded here, and then we're gonna fence off up there so they have some sunlight. We have a secondary coop. This is probably where I'll keep their food during the day. I'll just open this door up. Yeah, and then this goes all the way around. This is all wire fenced in. So we have 6 chicks. This is probably a bit much space for 6, but it gives us some room for expansion. A couple things I do need to do is I need to put in some better protection on the coop. So I'm going to put some hardware cloth, dig it underground, and make a little apron. We do have a lot of raccoons and possums out here, so I'll protect them. And then we have a secondary coop. There's nothing in there right now, but I might use that in the future. Old burn barrel. If you remember what those were, I do still use it. Don't tell the EPA. And I guess last thing, so this is a homestead. I like to have multiple forms of heat and water and such. Our house is actually wired in for natural gas. I had them put that in this year. It runs up from the road through the ground and up to the house, and that's what we primarily heat with. But in a pinch, we do have a wood boiler. So you can just feed that wood, and it pumps hot water into the house for heat. Heats your water heater. It's really economical. We didn't use it last winter because getting wood is kind of expensive right now. But, I mean, with the price of gas going up, it might be cheaper here shortly. So at least we have it. I need to mow this whole front yard too, but this is where I started the video. So that's kind of a quick loop of our homestead right now. Really happy with it. I did a lot this year when I first moved in, and there's still a ton to do. So it's not fully farm functional just yet, but you know, give me a couple of years. You know, the barn will be all set up, and you'll have some goats, maybe a cow or two, a lot of that stuff. So yeah, we'll end it here. If you watched through the whole video, thanks. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up, I suppose. If you didn't like it, that's cool too. I don't mind. You know, I'll try to put some chapters in since this is a longer video, but if you have any questions, let me know. I'd love to hear if you have any suggestions or thoughts. I'm still kind of learning the lay of the property, and love any feedback. So hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks.